Hey folks, Mel the Train Tutor back in the studio and back with, it's not exactly a tutorial, I'm more just showing you what I'm doing. I'm making some swampy trees. I mentioned them in the last vid. Yeah, here they are. Take a look. Yeah, I'm putting together, they're still a work in progress. I've got quite a few, you can see them up here. Now let me pull them out so you can get a better view. Obviously they're not based yet, so they're falling all over the place. Yeah, basically, if you remember, I was messing around with less skull. Yeah, and since I've been messing around with the skull, what I've sort of been working on is basically putting together a swamp set. Yeah, I've just been playing with the idea. You know, it's something that, it's an area I want to play with, shall we say. Yeah, inspired by a computer game I quite enjoy, which is called Valheim. It's one of the biomes in it, a swamp biome, and I quite like it. It's like, yeah, let's model it. So I've been doing these trees, and I've got a load of different sort of trees, if you notice. Yeah, I've got some big ones and I've got some little ones. Yeah, now the reason why I've got some big ones and some little ones is I've been making the trees out of these. Yeah, now these are, I think they're 12 gauge wire stems. If you're after these for your wire making, yeah, then go onto Amazon and what you want to look for is floral wire stems. Yeah, and you'll find big bunches of them for about a £5. Thank me later. Yeah, they're on my wish list, so you know, if you're not sure what to look for, head on my wish list and you'll see what they are there. Now I've been putting them together out of these. Now because they're quite long, obviously I've had excess, I've been cutting them off, which has left me with these sort of piles. So I started with the big trees, and then with the excess I've sort of made the smaller trees. Just been economical, and to be truthful, I'm just sort of playing. Now the idea is these are going to be swamp trees, and I've got quite a bit of stuff to do with them. Yeah, I've got quite a few ideas to really swamp them up, the paint scheme, the way, and all that sort of stuff. But I've got to get the actual armatures together. And then what I've got to do is put a bit of kink in them. Yeah, a bit of 50 Shades. Yeah, Mel style. PVA. White stuff everywhere. All right, calm down. So, what I've got to do with them is basically put some kinks and bends and make them a bit crooked. Yeah, I'm using quite thick wire on these, and the reason for that is because they're not actually going to have foliage. Yeah, I've got a different idea instead. And so, because they're not going to have foliage, yeah, I actually need quite sturdy sort of branches and bows, rather than the finery that comes when you use fine wire to get a lot of armatures to support like a large tree and a large crown made of, you know, whatever material you're using. Yeah, so these are going to be different. Now, might as well show you how I'm doing it. Yeah, so if we move these aside, yes, you can see some plague marines there, by the way. Yeah, they're part of it, they're for scale. Right, I've got a load of the offcuts here. Dropped one. Yeah, and all I'm doing is a basic twist method. Yeah, so I'm going to put them all together. Yeah, make sure they're roughly all the same height and everything. Get them in a bunch, and then I'm going to pick one of them. Yeah, about there. Bend it out. Yeah, and then get that wire, and I'm going to bend it around. And I'm going to loop it around a couple of times. Yeah, and that basically just helps form the trunk. So, got that looped around. Next job, I need to start pulling the armatures out. But it's a lot easier if you've actually done the bottom bits. Yeah, these sort of bows. The roots, sorry, not the bows. The bows are the branches. Right, now they're dead easy, because all you're going to do is grab a few wires, at least two or three, at least three, yeah, and then give them a little twist. Yeah, that sort of bends them out like that, and then all you're going to do is just work your way around, doing exactly the same. 3 or 4. Yeah, grab one of the wires, yeah, and just loop it round the others. What that does is it locks them off. Well, there's only 2 on that one. Silly Billy, let's put another one on. See, this is me talking and not doing. Never mind. It'll be fine. So, I'm just going to quickly grab the rest of these, get them twisted into place, and we'll go from there. Right, back in a sec. Right, so use my handy pliers, bring them up. Now you can see, yeah, I've twisted myself 4 roots. Yeah, and it's enough to keep it stable. They're a bit pokey at the minute. I'll clean those up at the end. Yeah, right, time to get on with the actual armatures. Yeah, the actual arms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a couple of these. Yeah, and where I've got the wire that I wrapped around before, I'm going to pull it out just so it wraps over those with that. And then I'm going to take those 3 and just very, very quickly twist them. So I've got, let me show you. I've got 1, 2, and a third one. And all I'm doing is I'm grabbing the 2 out of 2 and twisting it around that middle third one. And that's giving me my armature. Then we're going to carry on twisting with just 2 of them. And that'll give me sort of the armature thinning down. Now once I've done that, the next job is to take the wire that's next to this bow, wrap that around the trunk to hold the trunk together as we move up. Just do it 2 quick wraps and then pick where the next branch is going to come off. I'm going to do exactly the same. Grab a couple of them, pull them out. I'll do 4 this time. Let's have a nice thick branch. Yeah, and as a fan, I'm going to spin around a bit to get that branch forming. And you've got to watch it because these wires are pokey. So, like that. And to complete the rest of the tree, all it is a matter of just completing that process. So grab it, once you've got the armature in and the sort of branch, you've twisted that up, grab the next wire along, twist it around the trunk a little bit more, put another armature out, pull that in. By tying the wire that you sort of twist round into the armature, what you do is you lock it all together so it's not loose. And that's what gives it its sturdiness. So my next job is I just need to sort of like wind my way up here and start to put all these sort of armatures together. Yeah, so I'll crack on with that. I'll see you in a minute. Right, I've got my tree, or the porcupine of death, as it's become known. Yeah, basically you can see I've done all my twisting. Yeah, and I've got all my armatures. I've got all these long strands, which are basically, as you twist them up, they're constantly poking you, but I always like to keep them on and then trim at the later stage. Now, for the trimming, all I'm going to do, a pair of simple clippers. Yeah, and there's a few of these that I could actually do with extending further, to be truthful. So, trim that one. I haven't. Right, so you can see it's got it coming together. Yeah, this one, it's still on 3, so give those a quick little twist. And then we'll give them a trim. And I'm leaving probably about 6-7 millimeters from the twist. So the single wires, they're about 6-7 millimeters left over. Sometimes I go a little bit longer. Yeah, it's down to preference and how many kinks I've got to put in them, which we'll get to in a moment. Put some twists in that one. Yeah, trim that one down. Yeah, and that one's just a double twist, so trim that really quick. Ooh. Take people out. Yeah, this one, a bit of a twist in there. I'm just having a play, to be perfectly honest, and you're along for the ride. A bit like old times. Not really sure what I'm doing. Well, I've got an idea. I wrote a book on it. Right, and then we've got these top ones, so we'll just trim that one there, trim that there, and then trim that there. There we go. And now they're trimmed down, yeah, you can see that the armature has taken its shape properly. Now the final thing I need to do is, these have got some end bits on, so with a big pair of chunkies, yeah, one, wiggle it, just a little bit, come on, being a git, just doing this because I'm on camera. Don't break my hobby clippers. Alright, onto this one. Come on. Okay, don't break my hobby clippers. And then that one. And I may have cut these too short, but we'll have a look as we push it down. They're the shortest of the lot, that's for sure, but I can do something with them. Right, pull that one around like that, bend those up a bit. I could do with bending that one round there and support that. Almost a bit further. That'll do. Right. I'm not just sweating because of the tree. It is a bit of a heat wave in the UK at the minute. Yeah, but there we go. Yeah. Now, at the minute the armatures are a bit straight and that sort of stuff, we've got to kink them off and that sort of stuff. I'm going to come back and do that in a minute because I want to just twist these bunch into maybe 1 or 2 final trees, we'll see. Yeah, but I just want to get them done. So I'll get cracked on with that. Once they're done, we'll come back. I'll show you how I'm going to put some kinks in it and then we'll get on to barking it up. Right, cracking on time. So I've got all my trees twisted up. Now it's time to put the kinks in them. Right, let me show you what I'm doing. Basically, yeah, this is just one of the small trees. And if you notice, all the armatures are sort of like bendy, like they've got little creaks in them. On top of that, yeah, these end wires, all the end wires go perfectly straight. Whereas when I'm normally doing a twisty tree, what I do is these splits at the end, I sort of put them in a V shape. Yeah, because it holds the clump foliage and it holds the sort of like the substructure and the crown a bit better. Yeah, whereas with these, I actually want these to show. So I've got to do this little bit more work on them to sort of bend the bows and the whatchamacallit. Right. Limbs, bow, yeah, that's right, limb and branch. Still remembering the terminology here. So what I'm doing to do this is dead simple. Yeah, is if I get one of these, move it across. Yeah, as you can see, I've done a little bit on this, but there's still more to do. I've got a pair of pliers, thin nose, long nose ones. Yeah, and what I'm doing is sort of bending things. Yeah, just to put kinks in them. At the same time, all these straight ones, yeah, I'm sort of putting some bends in there. I'll have to trim them, but I want them to look, let's tighten that up. That'll do. Yeah, and we'll trim that down. What I'm basically doing is I'm just putting little bends into the wires because it makes them look a little bit more natural. And that's important because normally all these little wires would be hidden by the foliage. In this case, we're going to actually have these bare. So we need to get them looking a little bit better. Now that means I've basically just got to work my way around. Yeah, putting loads of kinks in all these trees. And once they're done, yeah, they should look brilliant. Yeah. So my job right now is, yeah, I'm not even going to say it because I mean it's getting old now, isn't it? Yeah. Let's get my kink on. Catching a mo. Right, my fingers are scratched a buggery, but they're done. And as you can see, yeah, they look a lot more realistic. Yeah, all of them do. Yeah, just straighten out those wires at the top so they sort of don't split in a V. Putting some kinks in and trimming them down. Yeah, and they've turned out great. Now the next thing is obviously got to bark them up. And to bark them up, yeah, I'm going with Daz for this one. Yeah, it's been a while since I've used Daz to do trees, so they've been a little bit fiddly. Yeah, I've started to put one together, sort of remind myself. Also get the muscle memory going. You know, you can't expect not to do this for a while and then sort of pull it out and it all be perfect. So, I don't know. Don't think I'm making excuses. It's just a little bit challenging. Right. Now, when it comes to actually dazzing up a tree, okay, it's dead simple. Get your daz out. Yeah. Roll it into thin bits. Okay. You won't be able to put a large blob on and work it round. It'll be a nightmare. Yeah. But if you roll it onto thin bits, it works a lot better. Now, all I'm doing is pushing that thin bit on. Yeah. And I'm just smoothing it round. I'm just filling basically the gaps between the wire twists. Okay. The simple fact is, do not try and cover the entire tree and get so it's completely white in one go. Ain't gonna happen. Yeah, you'll just, as you work it, it'll just start going absolutely everywhere. Yeah. And so just focus on getting smooth with the actual wires. The reason why is because you can come in once this is set, yeah, and you can just put a quick other layer over the top of it. Okay, and once the daz is in place, it'll actually stick a lot easier. A lot easier. Yeah, sticking to plastic wires, daz, it can be a little bit problematic. Yeah, so by by putting a layer on first, it gives it something better to grip to. So, dead simple. We're going to roll that up. And we're just going to get bits. Pick an armature. Just push it on. Push it round. And this is all I'm doing. I'm just smoothing it over all these little joints. Yeah, I can come in with a little bit of water afterwards, smooth it all down. Yeah, get rid of any sort of blobs, get some really good joins on it. Yeah, but above all, the main thing is to remember this is a two-step process at least, I'm saying. Yeah, and so don't stress about getting it perfect. Just get it on there as best you can. Use a little bit of water every so often, smooth it down. I'll get rid of any excess and help things join and blend nicely. Yeah. And then once it's completely dry, you can come in, you can put another layer on, you can texture it, you can put on like a stipple, but we'll talk about that in a little while. Yeah, so let me just do a little bit more of this so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, let's do central armature. Yeah, just pushing the sausage all over that, sort of smearing it round the armature. I'm trying not to get it too wet, because otherwise it goes sloppy and it doesn't stick to anything. So this is one of those situations where you want a little bit damp, but not drenched. There we go. If I hold it up, there you are, guys. You see how it's starting to come together. Yeah, now what I've basically got to do is continue this on this one, finish all those. Yeah, also do the roots in. For the roots, dead simple. I'm just going to do the same, and then I'm going to get a little bit of extra daz and just push it into the recesses in the sort of gaps of the roots. Okay, and if I do that, I'll get a nice solid platform with the sort of root structure as well. Well, that's the plan. We'll see how it turns out. Right, I'm going to be getting messy for the rest of the afternoon, so catch you once these are dry. So the daz is dried and they're ready for the next texture. Here, take a look. There you go. Now you can see how the daz has filled up pretty much all the big gaps between the spirals. You can only just about see where the twists are. Yeah, it's also filled in the majority of these large twists. Yeah, but we've still got some bare wires and some bare twists. And the next stage is to start barking it up. Literally, I'm barking. Okay, now to do this, I'm using a barking gloop, which is this stuff here. Okay, now what this is it is 2 parts filler, 2 parts chinchilla bathing or rodent bathing dust, but basically really fine sand. Yeah, and then 1 part good old PVA, and then that's been, and basically I've added water to it until I've got it to this sort of consistency. Yeah, and this is thin, And the reason why I want it thin is because I want it to be able to spread it on my armatures. And you see, because this has got filler in it and it's got grit in it and it's got PVA in it, when it dries, it'll give a really nice bark texture. Okay, at the same time, it's going to naturally fill in any of those last twists and that sort of stuff. Now, this does get a little bit messy, but we like messy. So, cheap old brush, okay, pick a tree, any tree, let's go for this tree. Yeah, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to take this on, and you can see it's sort of blobby. It's thin enough that it drips off. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to start brushing it over. Now, a little tip, you can throw a little bit of brown paint into the mix. I haven't with this one, but if you throw a little bit of brown paint into the mix, it makes it a lot easier to see where you've actually put the stuff. Yeah, but all I'm doing is basically dabbing it on. Yeah, I've given it a bit of a brush on. Now I'm adding on to it. Above all, yeah, I'm just filling those bits. Anywhere where I see my twists and that sort of stuff, I can go in. Don't worry about little blobs or underhangs. You can come back in. Yeah, you can always do 2 coats of this as well. There's no need just to try and get it done in one. Yeah, it is really forgiving, this stuff. Ah, see, told you it was messy. You'll also notice how the Daz has really firmed up the armatures as well, which is handy. Yeah, so I'm just going to keep going down here. Dab all this on here. Make sure we get rid of those. So where I can see any excessive sort of green wires. Yeah, get rid of them. Come back in. Ba, 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 ba. You can see it's coming together already. Yeah, come down to here. Let's do this one. Yeah, good way to do the wires is just scrape the brush off onto the wires. Yeah, add a little bit more, come in, dab it, scrape it, apply it, basically just get it on there. Now, as I said, this can be a 2-coat process. Yeah, remember, you don't have to rush to rain. You can, if you've got to get it out done quick, but it is your hobby. So taking time, using things and building things up on layers, if you've got the time, it's the best way to do it. That's it. Yeah. Now, as it starts to dry, you'll be able to go back, add a little bit more. Also, pull out any weird blobs that you don't like. I'm just pottering here. Right. And then what I'm going to do is basically do that for that one. And then that for that one. And then I'll just work my way down, basically getting the barking texture onto the actual trunk of the tree. Now, this is going to be messy. I'm going to bring you a photo, but if you really want to see how these turn out, then you've got 2 choices. You're going to have to catch the video next week, yeah, because I like cliffhangers. Or if you're part of the clan, I'll show you on this week's clan gathering. Now, if you are part of the clan, please jump onto Patreon, go to the membership post page, show me what you've been working on. So I've got something to talk about and add in this week's Chat Halavid. I'm kind of looking forward to it, but I need you to show me what you've been working on. In the meantime, I'll show you what I've been working on here. I've got some teddy bear fur I promised to do some work on. I've got my plague marines I want to show you off, and there's a few other things. And in the meantime, guys, I was just kind of getting over the hump with this one. Yeah, as you can see, I'm a lot better than I've been in a long time. Yeah, sorry it's taken me so long to get back on my feet. Yeah, I've just had some challenges, guys. In the meantime, yeah, if you like me being back, yeah, there are links down below, and it genuinely does help. Yeah, Patreon helps, PayPal helps, the Amazon wish list helps. It all helps. But above all, get yourself in the comments, put a smile on my face. In the meantime, folks, I'm going to carry on getting messy and barking these up, because I'm barking. I'll catch you in the next video, folks. All the best, yeah? Ta-ra!